There was another thing that you picked up on, and again, sorry for jumping around, but
No,
when you talked about characters like Holdo from Star Wars, there there's
God.
never a there's never a reckoning for them, and there's never like they're never held to task for the bad
Yeah.
decisions that they've made, which
Yeah.
again is a frustrating thing to see, because if you took her from that movie, and if at the end of it she'd said to Poe, for example, "Man, I was totally wrong about you. Should have trusted you. Should have told you everything. Now I've put everyone in danger. Um, let me try and atone for this." And that's when she
Right.
sacrifices herself.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, it's not great, but like it's something. Then it's a character arc for her, and you would feel bad for her at least a little bit. Like, oh, okay, she was misguided and she made a bad call, but she recognizes it, and
Yeah.
she's atoning for it. But in the movie, it's like she's portrayed as this wise hero that should be celebrated. It's like, no, she's just like a horrible person that really made terrible decisions throughout the entire film. This
Mm-hmm.
is this isn't a good person. But
Mm-hmm.
it's weird. It's like there's just this inability to even criticize them in the slightest way.
Yeah. And when she talks to Leia later on, she sees him. I guess I don't know if he's like knocked out or something. I can't recall, but she says to Leia, like, "Oh, I like him." And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, so, but why were you such a dick to him the whole time? Like, it was such a, it's the way she immediately insults him is what really bothered me, because a lot of people, when they comment on the video about Holden, they're like, hey, she's a general, or I forget what her title is, but like she needs to lay out the orders and they all need to listen, and that's
Mhm.
it. And it's like, yeah, fine, that's okay, but why does she need to insult him when he's just asking what the plan is? Why does that immediately need to jump to putting someone in their place versus saying, like,
Yeah.
giving some kind of like mature response?
Yeah, 100%. I sort of did a breakdown video on this, on
I remember
why,
that.
like, even if you just looked at her as a purely a military leader,
Mm-hmm.
she's absolutely horrendous. Like she sees only the worst in people, and
Mm-hmm.
as a result, she brings out the worst in them. She doesn't trust her subordinates. She openly berates them and insults them in front of the crew, which is something you would never do as an officer.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like again, like it's not like he's berating her. It's not like he's disrespecting her or anything, saying like, "Who the hell do you think you are? I don't have to take
Yeah.
orders from you, asshole." He's like, "Yeah, cool. Like, I'm on board with this. Just tell me the plan, and I'll do what I can to help." And she's like,
Yeah.
"Huh? Plan? You want to know information, do you? You fucking asshole!" And like, you just berates him for just asking a question. It's like, where's this even coming from? Like, it's like you're going out of your way to be the biggest asshole possible.
Yeah.
Weird.
Like, how dare
Um,
you ask for transparency in a time of crisis? Like, how dare
Yeah,
you?
yeah, totally. Like, yeah, imagine one of my senior officers wanting to know what the plan is so he can help facilitate it. God,
Yeah.
won't have that kind of behavior in my ship.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's really crazy.
Yeah. I
Um,
think, okay, another thing that really bothered me about the writing for the men, though, in the Star Wars series. So, in in the last movie where Poe shows up at the base and he's just like running to Ray and starts having an argument with her about something like stupid. Like, they argue for like 10 minutes about something really stupid, where like Ray's like, I'm right, and Poe's like, no, I'm right. And
yeah,
the next second he reveals that they have like 16 hours before some giant, like, world ending thing is about to go off. Sorry, I don't remember a lot of the details, but I couldn't believe, like, you're arguing for 10 minutes when you have 16 hours to stop some death like weapon. Why are like the men shown as so stupid? Like, he would not do that. Poe would not do that. He would prioritize the fact that he has really grave news for the base.
I think this was poor old J.J. Abrams trying to compensate for the fact that these two characters had literally never met each other until the very end of the last movie, so they had nothing in the way of history. And
Yeah.
so now he's like, "Oh, we got to establish a relationship. Like they're kind of like boyfriend and girlfriend arguing over stuff. Yeah, like they're bickering like lovers, but like
Yeah.
they've got no history, no chemistry,
Yeah.
nothing."
Yeah.
Yeah, and like you say, it's just totally out of place. It's a real time waster for what's actually going on.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's him desperately trying to construct a movie out of like the ashes of the previous one.
Yeah.
And it's there's nothing to work with there.
No. And they
It's
did
really weird.
Finn really dirty in that. Like they really mistreated his character.
Yeah, he was such a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Like we've on various streams we've talked about this before. How this is a guy who was a stormtrooper. He's taken from his parents.
Yeah.
When he was a little kid. Indoctrinated into this military, just become like a mindless killing machine, and somehow found a way to break that programming and think for himself and escape.
Yeah.
You think there would be a lot to work with there as a
Right.
character, a lot of darkness to him, traumatic
Mm-hmm.
memories, flashbacks to the things he was forced to do.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, no, he's just goofy kind of figure of fun. We just make fun of him. He's always getting stunned or knocked over, or he's staggering around in his like suit thing that's spraying water everywhere, and he's just a goofy comedy relief, and it's such a wasted thing for a character.
Yeah, and he's just like he's like Ray's puppy, just trying to tell her something, which we never find out what, but just like constantly trying to tell her something. It's just like,
Yeah,
dude, she has shit to do.
yeah. People have said like, oh, he was about to tell her that he's got the Force or something. It's like, oh, fuck off. Like he was going to tell her that he's got the hots for her, but then they
Probably.
aborted that whole thing, and like they're just frenzies because it's weird. Like you can't even have like a proper romance in these movies now because I don't know, it's offending someone.
Yeah. Yeah, it's too cisgender for them or whatever.
I think so. Yeah, like it's bizarre.
Yeah.
But yeah, the result is just loads of wasted opportunities with promising characters. You could have done so much with them. I think the way I described the characters in a movie like Last Jedi is all the male characters act like stereotypical females. All the negative stereotypes that you would have of women, that they're overly emotional or they're short-sighted or impulsive or insecure. That's all the men in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like what's his name? Hux is just a goofy clown, and he's worried because he's losing his place, and he's shouting at people and screaming and losing his temper all the time, and just getting knocked over and humiliated. All that stuff. Same with Kylo Ren. Like he's just really angry. He's always like smashing things because he can't control himself. That's not an intimidating bad guy.
No.
An intimidating bad guy is the one who's cold and methodical and ruthless.
Yeah.
And
it's
like,
oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say, like Darth Vader in the originals, like when someone failed him, he didn't scream and rant and rave. He would just like put his hand out and like snap their neck or whatever, or choke them to death with the Force. That was it. He didn't lose his temper. He's just like, yeah, you fail me, you die. Like try and do better next time.